I recently purchased the most popular glucose meter.
And then on an emergency basis, over an hour, twice, downloaded from all the federal and military computers, everything that they had, including during that hour, back to a mainland location within the NORAD defense system, and including all of the access codes, including for special access projects, as though the people involved may have died. So then you got totally transparent back at NORAD, everything going on. Doesn't matter what your secret code is that you put in, we get it all. Uh, that, I believe, is what happens on the mainland and again out in the islands and other locations around the world in some kind of a missile standoff, Cuban Missile type crisis, where it appears missiles are in the air. And all those systems have to scram. And when they do, it doesn't matter what they've tried to do in the interim, the codes were locked. When Trump sealed up Cheyenne Mountain, which is the core of our missile defense system, everybody in there has a Q clearance. Um, uh, they locked all of those systems in a continuity of government operation to the NORAD side of continuity in government, which goes back to 54 and the beginning of the nuclear age, versus SES, which happened under Carter with the inspector generals and the SES 78 and 79, those two executive orders that hijacked control of the country. Carter was really only a tiny bit better than Biden in that he was a useful tool for these globalista
Useful idiot.
to put themselves into the right position. And then you move forward in time. That who managed the Oklahoma city building? I think it'll be very readily found to have been SES. Even this fraud.
You had mentioned Bill Barr, maybe.
Oh, yeah,
Some other stuff about Bill Barr where they're basically they're already getting everything ready to prosecute President Trump before the last election fraud. They're already getting it ready. Wow, he's going to really be held accountable, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, Bill Barr is within that circle of SIGI, continuity in government, their council and like that. They go by SIGI, and you know, yeah, let's go smoke that SIGI. Um, those people. I mean, I will tell you, those people that have hijacked control of the country through various frauds and manipulations, including cooperating with the fraud of the 2020 election and the Russia stuff. They are going to have a rough hair day now for the rest of their lives. Once this executive order is signed, things will change. And, Obama's over there in England kissing up to those guys. By the way, the British Commonwealth side of this continuity and government operation, where these globalists are coordinating their actions, that's Serco. Serco is the equivalent of RSES and controlling, the intelligence agencies, everything else. And by the way, you probably remember this. A lot of us were like, what in the world are they talking about? This is insane. When they were talking about merging all the intelligence gathering operations into under one roof, which is what happened after 9/11, another SES covered operation. Um, uh, why? Because now you centralized everything. It was easier to control stuff, right? So send Matt a note. It'll be there in 5 minutes because they have opening. If you would, please. So that's the kind of stuff that's going to come out. And um, think about that under the auspices of continuity in government. 9/11 happened. The Paradise and Palisades fires, Maui, and 100 other fires that you haven't heard the name of, that were where very advanced military weapons were used not just against Americans, but places all over the world for this club's purposes to steal all the money from everybody, everywhere, all the time. Um, this is a much bigger battle, and it's my contention that the most important first real shot across the bow that's going to hit armor, go through a deck plate, in at the waterline, is what Trump's about to do with this emergency executive order. Now, we've been lobbing stuff across the decks. We've been, making big, loud noises and all that. This is the one that hits them in really core places. If you get an honest election, they're toast.
Oh yeah.
You have honest paper ballots, no electronics. Trump is not going to have one machine in this. In fact, one of the big things that we've heard for months, and I actually dealt with one of the groups directly, personally, and asked for a very specific thing and got what they just damn well wanted to do, which wasn't where we're going. Hand count paper ballot and all the problems with the machines. And they came back and says, well, all the machines that are currently there are bad and there's nothing else out there, but we came up with one. So we've got a machine that we want to use. Trump, they were opportunistic, was Trump's exact words. They wanted to do it their way, and they're going to go make a buck, feather their nest through retirement, and manage this whole thing. No, just like France. Hand count paper ballot, counted where cast, 1 day vote. Okay. It's about to happen. And that guy right there is about to bring you back to honest elections in America. And once we get ours under control, the rest of the world, it's going to be unbelievable. So anyway, I've got another show I've got to do with my chief of staff here, Matt Meck. And, he's doing a fantastic job too. In fact, if you wanted to have him on your show, you might want to ask him about his history back in the Fast and Furious stuff, which is also going to be part of this as we get into going after election integrity and the national election emergency. Fast and Furious is going to come back. Watch what happens.
Wow, sounds great. Look, I took a look in the description box, All Patriots, gumroad.com, and the Jennifer Mack. And
and I'm probably going to have to up those silver prices depending on what's going on in the market right now. So I probably won't do it for at least several hours or maybe overnight again. And I do expect silver up there at 70 before it kind of hits the wall this cycle. And I've said that. I said it on your show, weeks and weeks ago. And I said that back when it was in the mid 30s, that the next, we'd get in that 40 range and bounce around there for a bit, and then it was going to break loose and go to 70, and that's where it's at. And even that's not a stop. There's so much pressure within the banking system. And by the way, when the Fed lowers interest rates on Wednesday, as they're most likely to do, everybody believes it, that will also bring up metals prices. Again, why would you sit on these low interest things with all the risk in the markets? Okay. So
all right.
Anyway, that's the situation.
Thanks so much for coming in and giving us the update. That's fantastic. Good to hear.
Well, and I apologize. This is one of the shorter shows we do. I like to kind of get into all the weeds, but I hope there was enough there for people that, I just want everybody kind of understanding the context things, including, we got to pray Tina through this. She's in a desperate situation. It would be horrid to be that person. And how, she has nothing to hang her hat on. We can't even tell her some of the stuff going on the outside. So she's just got to trust that people have her back and that it's not all just talk. And that's really hard to hang on in that kind of situation. By the way, I sent a letter out to all of my Gumroad customers, on my mailing list Sunday about the Battle of the Bulge. and correlations that I see there with persons and ideas to Tina's situation. And it was put out in a couple places, and they only put about half of it out there. Well, without the end, you don't understand why I'm tying it together the way it is. I'm like, oh my gosh, you know, they were going to bleed it out and get commercials and whatever. I give it for free. Anybody that's been a customer of mine over there, I send an email periodically to.
Yep. Yeah,
And I did that on the Tina Peters thing a little more intensely. Usually, you know, sometimes it goes 6 months or 2 or 3 months, but I've been hard on it over the last several weeks because of the Tina Peters thing. And I apologize. And I sent that out. That article, I hope people will read that. I hope they understand it. And I don't want to even take away some of the stuff that's in there because most people have never heard what I've put in there. And so I want people to think about that and tie it to Tina Peters. We have guys, people, men and women that have made such amazing sacrifices, and Tina has. Let's pray her through this and get her out free and get her healthy again. So there you go. Love you, bro.
All right. Yeah, Tracy and I love you, and Jen, thanks a lot. Appreciate it.
Yeah.
We'll talk to you again soon, hopefully.
Yeah. And by the way, that blanket's over at Jennifer Mack's store.
And that's a great
That blanket, I love that blanket.
Yeah, we do too.
My gosh, it's so comfortable.
Yeah.
Anyway, all right, bro. We'll talk soon.
All right, bro. Thanks.
All right.